Hi and welcome back to the second part of this series. In the previous part we set up the project and did some configuration. In this part I'm going to make it possible for users to sign up, log in and log out, and also see a very simple dashboard just so you can see that you are authenticated. First I want to fix two things from the previous part, and the first is a settings error I did in Django. So if I just go into settings.py, I need to add a comma there, and that is because this is two tuples, and tuples always need at least one object to make it iterable. So now I can save this and close and set this task to done. And I also had a typo in the store index.js where I wrote initialize store or something like that. So if I just go back to index.js and remove ti, so initialize store, that is now the correct one. So now I can set that task also to done. And then the third task is creating a view for the dashboard. The views are located in a folder called views inside the src folder for the Vue project. I want all of the views for the dashboard to be located in one folder so that it's separated from everything else. So first I can create a folder, dashboard. I want all folders to have lower cases in the names, but files always starts with uppercase. So in here we create a new file, dashboard.vue. Yes, I want to install this for Vue because I obviously haven't done that yet. So installing, and now I get a little bit cool functionality like highlighting and similar. So I can just go back here now. And first here I want to add the empty template tag, and I like to wrap all the content inside here in one div. So I like to call all of them, for example, page dashboard and page sign in and similar. But here we have div class page dashboard. In here I create one more div with the class columns is multi-line, so I can have multiple columns inside there but on multiple lines. In here I create one more div class column is 12, so it fills out the whole screen. This is for the title and just for testing right now. h1 class title dashboard, h1, close the div, and below here I need to add a script tag, and this is added automatically because of the extension I just installed. I want to set the name of this page to dashboard, and that's everything we need here for now. So now I can just save this and I can go back to done. I won't be able to test this before we have created the sign up view and we are authenticated, so we can be redirected back to the dashboard. So now we can go into views here, create a new file, signup.vue. And here I also start with the empty template tag, and I can create the empty script tag as well. Name, sign up, like that. But let's build the template first. So here is a div class page sign up. Close it before I forget it. Here I only want the single columns like that. I don't need multiple columns here. And I want one column which is is4, which is 25% of the screen, and is offset 4, so it moved out on the screen so it's centered. In here I add a title, h1 class title sign up, and below here I add a form tag and add an attribute called @submit. So this listens for the submit call, and when we call submit we want to prevent this for doing what it's supposed to do, which is submit to the backend. But instead we call a function called submit form. I will come back to that later. But I can just close a few of these now before I forget. It's so typical me. In here I first create a div class field and a label where we're showing email. And then we have a div class control which will hold the input element. We set the type to email so we can expect the email address here. And we set the name to username, class input, so we get some styling from Bulma. And then we set the V model to username. I will connect this to the data here soon. Then add one more field, give it the label password and a div class control for the input field. But here we set the type to password, give the name password, set the class to input and V model password, which will also connect down here. And then I add one more div element and give it the class of notification is danger. And this will only render, this is a view directive, and it will only show if we have any errors in the variable errors, which we also will create very soon. And what happens in here is that we create a P element, and for every error in errors, which create one more paragraph. And we bind the key to error, so we don't have multiple keys with the same key on different places on the page. And in here we just print the error. And then below this error, create one more field with the div class control, which will hold the button with the class as button and is success. So it's nice and green and says sign up. So that's the template. And down here I can create a data function which returns an array. We want the username, can set be empty, and the password can also be empty, and errors, which should be an empty list. And below this data function we create a new object called methods or dictionary, which will hold the functions. I'm only going to use one function here, which is the submit form. So I can add it like this. Add the E here so we can use the event from the form. First we create a variable called form data, and we build a small little dictionary we're going to send to the server with username and password, which you get from these two, which are also connected to these two input fields. Then below I call Axios and a dot post, so I send it to /API v1/users, and then Joser, which you installed in the previous part of this series, will take care of everything with authentication and similar. So we can just pass in this variable with the username and password, and everything is handled for us. And then we get a response. We'll just call this with the fat arrow function, and we print the response to the console so we can see that everything is okay. And when that's done, we call this.router.push/login. So when the signup is finished, we could be sent to the login page where we can log in the user. This hasn't been created yet, but we'll come back to that later. But I can actually, no, it can be like that for now. And then I add a little code block for catching errors. So it's a catch error, and if the error has the property called response, we print this or add this to the this.errors array we get from up here with the property which field the errors come from, and then the message. And we also console log it so we can see it there. And the same with these two, we just console log it because this never happens actually. But we like to show it in the console in case we want to check it out. So if I save now and check the console, everything here looks okay. So if I refresh now, sign up, nothing works because we haven't set up the router file yet. So if I go back to Visual Studio Code, I'm going to router.index.js. Here I want to import the dashboard and the sign up page. So import dashboard from /views dashboard/dashboard.view and import sign up from /views/sign-up.view. So now I have all of the pages we've created so far. And if I just copy this for the sign up, and then I want the name to be called sign up, and the component or view, which is also called, will be sign up. So So if I refresh now, you will see that I see the sign up title and that the form is centered on the screen just like I explained. But before I test this, I want to create the login page as well, just so that we know that everything is going to work there. Before I continue, I just want to say thanks to my Patreons. If you too want to support me, you will find a link to my Patreon in the description below. So inside the views, create a new file, login.vue. Can begin with the empty template and with empty script. Like that. Name, login. And I already prepared this code, but I'm going to paste it in and then go through it. First, we create a div class page login just to wrap everything of this inside there. Create the columns just like on the sign up page. And the same here. It's just a little code for centering this on the middle of the screen. And then the title login. And the same thing that happens when we submit this form is that we prevent it and then we call our function. Then we have a field for username and field for password, just identically to the sign up page. And here we loop through the errors if there are any. And we have a simple login button. And if I scroll down here, I've created a simple data array, which returns username, password, and errors just like in the sign up page. I forgot to import Axios, so import Axios from Axios. And I also need to do this on the sign up page, sorry about that. So on the top here, import Axios from Axios. And then below here, I create methods. And we want to call the submit form and get the E if we need it. The first thing we do in here is to call axios.defaults.headers.common and set the authorization attribute to empty, just so that we reset everything with authorization. And we also say local storage.remove item token, so we remove everything from the local storage, just to reset everything again. Then we create the same form data variable as we did in the sign-up page. And then we use Axios to call post on the token/login. So it's almost identically to the sign-up page, but instead of saying /users, we say /token/login. And this function is also a little bit different, because when we are logged in, we get the auth token from the server, and then we call this.store.commit set token with the content from that token. So set token is the function we created yesterday. So we call this and set the state token to token, and we also set is authenticated to true, so that we know that we are authenticated in this app. And then we set the default headers for Axios, authorization to token, and append the token. So we don't have to do this for every time we call Axios to get data or send data and similar. And then we call local storage.setItem token with the token, so we have it stored in the browser in case you close the window and open it again. And when that's finished, we call this.router.push/dashboard. Then we will be redirected to the dashboard page. And then it's just the same catch error thing as in the sign-up page. So if I save now, go back to the terminal, everything seems to be okay. So then I just need to go into the router and import the sign-up page. Login, from ./views login.vue. Then I need to append it here. Login, like that. So now I can go here, click login, and I will see this instead of the sign up page. Perfect. And then the last thing we need to do now before we test the sign up is that we need to append the dashboard here in the list. We have already imported it up there. So path /dashboard name dashboard and component is dashboard. But here I want to do a little bit magic, because if I try to go to dashboard now, I will actually see the dashboard even if I'm not authenticated. So we need to make it possible to check before we go into a route or page that if the user is authenticated, we can go into that page. If not, you'll be redirected to the login page. To check this, we first need to import the store so we can get which state we are in. So import store from /store. So then we get access to the isAuthenticated variable. And to check this, we can add here meta. So we add some more information to this view. Require login true. This will just default to false. And below this router function here, we say router.before each. So before each path we go into or route, we call this function to, from, and next. So we get information which page we are going to, where we are coming from, and what we are going to do next. And then we set up a fat arrow function. And in here we say if to.matched. That will check here if this is set to true. .sum record record.meta.required login and not store.state.is authenticated. Because if we are going here and we are not authenticated, we just want to be redirected to the login page. So then we set next to /login. But if we are authenticated and we require authentication, we can just say else and call next. So then we don't have to change that. And save. Sorry, I need to add that parenthesis there. And save. So everything still looks okay there. Refresh. Can open the console just to see if everything comes up here. Then I can create a new user. code.co.com and the password. Sign up. Now I was redirected to the login page, so that means that I think everything is working, because I also got the status 201 with the status text created. So I can try to log in with the user and password I just created. Login. Perfect. Now I was actually redirected to the dashboard, which means everything is working. We now have authentication where you can log in and also create users. Perfect. So now I can go here and set this to done. Okay, I see I've done this in a little bit different order. Done. And now I just want to create a simple My Account page. Add the link up in the menu to that page and also create logout functionality. So inside the dashboard folder, create a new file, myaccount.vue, template, and script tag, name my account. And then I begin with the page my account. Then I set the title and I add a button. And when you click this button, at can also be V on, but the at symbol is just a shortcut for this in Vue. And when I click this, we call the logout method, which we're going to create down here soon. We add a button, which is danger, so it's red, just so you know that it's something dangerous going on. Div, and then below here, oops, we say methods logout, and we're going to use Axios here as well, so you need to import this. Import Axios from Axios, and we just post to token/logout. And when we get the response back, we just reset the authorization headers. We remove the token from the local storage, and we commit to the store or the state to remove token, which is the function we created yesterday. which just resets everything there. I can go back to my account, and when that's done, we call the router to push us back to the front page of this app. And then we just console log if there are any errors. There usually are no errors when you just try to log out. So now we can save this. If I go back now, we don't have the button there yet, of course. And I need to add it to the router as well. So here I can say import my account from /views dashboard /my account.view. And I can copy the dashboard because we also want to use the metadata here. So my account here, like that. Replace the name with my account, like that, because here we also want to require the login. And then what's left is to add the button up in the menu. So below this dashboard link, which only shows when you are authenticated, can copy this because we want a div around the buttons, or button, which only have one now. And router link to dashboard /my account button, class button is light, can just be a light gray button, my account, close the router link and close the two divs and save. So if I now refresh, or don't have to refresh because that happens automatically, I just used to doing it. Click my account, it says my account, I can click log out to log out of the Invoice app. And I can try to log in again. Yes, everything works perfectly. And if I go to here and try to sign up with the user I had from before, sign up, username with a user with that username already exists. So everything here is working perfectly. So now I can go back to the to-do list and set this task to done and save. And that was it for this part. I hope you enjoyed it and that you liked it, and if you did, I would be really happy if you click like below. This helps me grow the channel so I can create more content like this. If you want notification when the next part is published, you need to subscribe to my channel and remember to click the bell that will give you email notifications. So, see you in the next video.